Do you have any advice? Wait, I have to put my glasses on. Do you have any advice on how to bring awareness to someone that has these harmful traits, meaning narcissists? First of all, I'll go with this part. You cannot bring awareness to narcissists. You cannot bring awareness to empaths. You cannot bring awareness to anyone on this planet. That is not what you can ever do at all. I've done it most of my life, and it does not work. And it feels really sad to say this, but it's true. You cannot bring awareness to someone, specifically a narcissist, who has these traits, because there is nothing you can do to shift and change anyone's paradigm or perception. Whether they're a narcissist or an empath and anyone in between, it doesn't even matter. Unless the person is open and looking and searching and asking, that is the only time that awareness can be brought into that person. Why? Because think of yourself, like you're really in love with the narcissist, right? Really love him. You cannot leave him. You don't know how to leave him. Can anyone bring you an awareness to leave no matter what? Right? Because you don't want to. You're not ready to. So I am sure somehow someone in your life was like, why aren't you getting out of this? This is crazy, right? And you either cut off that person from your life, or you're like not sharing anymore anything with them because you do not want to have awareness about it and come to the truth, right? So even with you, it doesn't work. So let alone with a narcissist who there is no need in any way for them to have this awareness, because they're gaining everything. You're still there loving them. You're still giving them excuses for their bad behavior. You're still willing to give them everything. Even if you go crazy every once in a while, it really doesn't matter. That actually pleases them, makes them feel superior and in control. But like, they don't even want to change. They don't even want a new perspective. They love their perception. They are in admiration of what they do. They regard themselves so highly, right? They truly do. Whether you're with a covert or an overt, they internally they regard themselves, whether they play the victim in front of you, whether you see, I call it the peanut gallery, because the peanut gallery is, you see parts, like some good things come out. Like a lot of people are confused, but I've seen them do good things. I'm like, yeah, narcissism, it doesn't mean that they're like psychopaths. Even psychopaths know how to pretend, right? They're not insane people walking down the street just causing havoc without having some kind of goodness that they're showing, or they've learned how to be nice. They don't know how to be kind, but they know how to be nice, right? They've learned it. Like they've learned the behavior. Well, this is when I can manipulate people by being like, oh, smiley or helpful, or open the door every once in a while, that kind of stuff. Like it's all mimicked. It's not real, right? You never feel it. They just feel empty inside. So when you want to bring awareness to them, it's due to a great desire inside of you, a belief. Like all the movies, don't forget Beauty and the Beast. Like there's so many cartoons and movies that, the guy is like mean and bossy and cruel and this, but then this one woman, she helps him see the light. She finds his kindness. Like all along, she knew he was kind. And then, with no one else in the world but her, he opened up like never before. And he's like putty in her hands, but in front of everyone, he's tough and strong, or whatever, like the scenario is. But in general, basically, a woman saves a man, no matter how mean and cruel and narcissistic and critical and like a bully he is. but this gentle woman that keeps pouring love all over him day and night, and doing everything like a doormat, basically, and a people pleaser. Like, she does this all day. He transforms and his true colors show, and his true colors is this utter love. Nonsense. This is utter bullshit and nonsense. Just nonsense. This is another scheme of how to oppress women, okay, and let them deal with crap of partners, crap human beings in your lives, right? For you to be okay with it, telling you one day he will change and become your knight in shining armor. One day, because of the love you've poured onto him and the patience you've had, one day he's going to turn into the person you've always desired. When he notices how much of yourself you've given, how much you've stood by him and you've accepted his abuse and all this, he'll turn around one day and he'll give you gratitude. And this is what you're actually hooked on. You are in love with the love story, okay? And a lot of us we're in love. Freaking hell, I'm like in love with love, right? Now I just know how to direct it. Now I'm madly in love with Divinity. Like, Divinity's my super love, right? But it was always like, a man, I need to find the love of my life, the man. Hell, narcissist after narcissist until I could wake up to truth. But you're in love with the story. And this is the crazy part. You're in love with the story that you've invented. You are not in love with him. I'll go to the next one. Most say to keep away. Okay? Most say to keep away. Well, it's true. The best remedy is to detox from it because you're entangled. You're completely entangled in it. When you've been so gaslighted, so manipulated, that your own thoughts are not yours anymore, okay? That your own way of being is not yours anymore. That your likes are not yours anymore. Your values have shifted. What you used to like, you don't like. What you didn't like, you do like. Who you are, you're constantly in a state of confusion. Your worth is zero. You're tolerant. Now, this is something to pay very close attention to. When you have a very high tolerance for crap and bad behavior and people treating you disrespectfully, the higher your tolerance for bad behavior and for pain, emotional and mental and physical pain, the higher your tolerance is from another human being, the lower your worth is. That's how you can measure your worth to yourself. The lower your worth is. The lower your tolerance for bad behavior, for disrespect, for all that, the lower your tolerance is, the higher your self-worth is, the higher your self-respect is, the higher your self-value is. But I understand, as somebody who's been through it several times, okay, it is blinding. There is this thirst and desire, right? So you just say, what if you truly love someone and walking away is the last resort? I understand. Of course you want it to be the last resort. Of course that you don't even want that as a resort, but you don't know what to do. You know too much and you can't do anything and you are enmeshed with this person. This person is your God. This person is your divinity right now. This person is your savior. And you feel, so this isn't love. Love isn't obsession, because what we end up doing is we end up obsessing over the narcissist. Obsession, right? We lose all parts of ourselves and we're there wanting to save them because we can touch base with their inner child. The wounded inner child, we're like, we'll make that the man. But you're in love with the story in your head. Please think about it. Step back and just think, who are you really in love with? And write it down. You're going to notice you're in love with an illusion of a man. The illusion, maybe he love bombed you at the beginning, and that's who you're still in love with, the love bombing phase. Please go to the narcissist, the Expand Past Narcissist playlist we have. When we went on a rampage, Mel's like, just get out as much as you know so we can just have a playlist to refer people there because there's so much information. But and I have my own personal channel, and that has a whole bunch about narcissism, and that's been there for years. And if you want, you can go to Rain Zaben on my YouTube and go to the narcissistic section, and just it's everything about everything that'll really help you. But in general, okay, You cannot love someone that treats you like dirt. And I understand where this is confusing, because almost all human beings love their parents, even when they treat them like dirt. They just love them. Like it is truly unconditional. Children have an unconditional way of loving their parents. It doesn't mean they're not terrified of them, angry with them, all this, but they still love them. It's like this innate feeling. So we kind of project it into a partner because we're hoping this partner is going to be different than our parents, and they're going to actually give us back the love that we gave. But with narcissists, that doesn't happen. And the reason you are meeting a narcissist and you're entangled with a narcissist, my darling, is simply because it is a reflection of your inner language to yourself. You are basically seeing the shadow of you in human form, treating you and talking to you in the way that you treat and talk to yourself. You don't believe you're worthy of love. You don't believe that you deserve to be respected. I don't even think you know what that even feels or looks like, because you haven't experienced it ever. This is what you understand love to look like. This is what love looks like. It's effortful. It's hard. It's you having to heal and fix and take care of. It's you having to, it's a tug of war to get emotions. It's a tug of war to feel appreciated. It's a tug of war to be shown kindness, to be shown respect. It's always pulling, and it's always you walking on eggshells and you feeling. So when you think that you're in love with this person, you're not in love. This is just a familiar feeling of what you were brought up in, or the emotions, and this is mimicking it in your world today. So you think this is love because as children we translated whatever crap we dealt with our family, that was love. That is what we understood. This is what the program started. We received the program saying that is love. To be ignored, given the silent treatment, to be gaslighted, to be manipulated, to be humiliated, to be put down, to be abused, to be spoken to, to be belittled, to be criticized, to be made fun of. All this meant love. So of course you go out in the world looking for that. And of course when you meet that, you get these butterflies and you passion and you get really weird, even though internally something inside is telling you this isn't good for you, or this isn't right. Like there's a part of you that knows, which is your inner light, knows that this is bad for you. But your being is like, this is so familiar. I know exactly how to act, and this time it's going to work. This person is going to tell me that they love me. And if you had the love bombing stage, then you would have been shown that you are amazing, you're the best person. They would have shared with you their deepest, darkest secrets, or how horrible it was in their past relationship, how horrible that ex was, or how much they weren't loved, how much they were neglected. Either they played the victim of their lives, and it's just a whole story, and how sweet and wonderful they are with you, and how they treat you so nicely, and you get phone calls and bombarded with like attention and love, and anything you say, they're really attentive, like love bombing, full-fledged, right? And you think, oh my God, I finally found somebody completely opposite of what my parents did, completely opposite of my parents. Then boom, the minute your heart says yes and you step into it and you're fully into it, slowly the games begin. Slowly all that act has disappeared, okay? And everything starts to happen, right? The gaslighting, the manipulation, the flying monkeys start to come in, right? Triangulation starts to happen. God, there's so smear campaign when you start to want to leave them. Oh my God, I have an entire workshop about this with slides and details and everything to do with how to free you. But it's like, everything starts like the word salad, the projection. Ooh, projection. You know, it's always your fault. Always. The way they feel, the way they act, the reason they yelled, the reason they ignored you, the reason they gave you the silent treatment, the reason, all of it is all your fault. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's never your fault. If they stubbed their toe somewhere and it hurt them, it's your fault. For something, for not caring enough when they stubbed it, for them stubbing it, for who cares, you're always at fault. You think it's love because it's just familiar. You are not in love. Love is not like that. Love does not hurt. Every movie we've watched, every story we've heard, we've been taught, even religiously, we've been taught love hurts. For crying out loud, for Christians, their prophet or their God, right, was on the cross, bleeding blood, right, and tortured. That's how they tortured back then, right? Back then they would have, that's just the way of torture that they had. It wasn't specifically for Jesus himself, it was just the way they tortured people. They would carry the cross all the way up the mountain and then they would hammer them into it. It wasn't special what happened to him. However, he was God's most beloved, right? He was God's son. He was God, whatever that is, right? And this is what happened to him, right? So love hurts. This is God's love to the human that he created, this is what love looks like, torture and pain. So then of course it's so easy to fall in love with a narcissist because it's very familiar. It's a similar story we've heard, right? Beauty and the Beast, great example. He was a beast. She was the beauty. Look what she did. She turned him into a sweetheart. Come on, right? The manipulation, the brainwash. So you said, you're so sweet. You're like, I really respect your perspective and curious if you had any advice. Confidence and throwing them off their game works, but it's temporary. They go right back to finding ways to manipulate and gain control. Of course. Confidence in throwing them off their game works. Of course it works, and it's just temporary. Because when you're pretending to be confident, you're pretending to be like, I'm not talking to you, and you give them the silent treatment for some time, you start dodging, you're playing the game. You're playing the game. It doesn't work because it's not coming as your truth. Because you're doing it because you want him to come back. You want him to see what he's lost. You want him to see and feel the pain that he's lost you, that he can't have you, that if he changes, then he can have you back. And then he does something called hoovering, right? And he just sucks you back in. He becomes nice and you're like, oh, it worked. And then of course it didn't because it's a pattern and a pattern and a pattern, right? But confidence works 20 million% with narcissists when it's coming from within. And what's another way to say confidence? Self-respect is confidence. It's the natural consequence of confidence, because confidence is a theory, right? It's a theory. Self-respect is an act, right? When I am in a state of self-respect, the natural consequence, I fall into confidence. I cannot work on being confident, but I can work on having self-respect. I can work on self-consciousness. I can work on self-respect. That's it. That's the main word that keeps coming and has been, I can work on self-acceptance. That's another thing. You can't work on confidence because that's a word that doesn't have any definition. Everyone can think of what confidence is. There isn't a specific definition, unlike self-respect. What does respect mean, right? And this is what I'm going to offer myself. So when you are truly confident in who you are, and you're not doing it to get them back, pay them back, or any of that stuff. You're not doing it for any other reason other than I love who I am, I respect me. But that's not where you're at. So you're playing the game. You're playing the narcissistic game, and they know you're playing the game, and this makes it more fun for them because then they get to forgive you, and then you get to forgive them, and it's a back and forth, but they just keep sucking you dry until you wake up one day and you find your strength, right? And of course they go back to manipulating you and gaslighting you. That is so normal because this is what they do best, right? This is what they do best. So you can't pretend to be confident, right? Because pretending to be confident is a game. It isn't truly who you've become or who you are. When you become and who you are, you won't be able to stand being around him. You're going to notice everything you are feeling was never love. It was a dependency. It was a need. It's like, he has my worth. I always tell my clients this. He has your worth in his hands. You've given your worth to him. Your worth doesn't belong to you anymore. And so you want him to appreciate you. Why do you want him to change? The reason you want him to change is so he can see you for the good person you are. He can appreciate you. He can love you the way you want him to love you. But the truth of the matter is, the only way you will gain your self-worth is by actually accepting that he's a narcissist and he will never change, and I have no power over his awareness. And if you can accept that, you are free. Because now you're not going to jump through hoops and belittle yourself and humiliate yourself and disrespect yourself for him to finally see your worth. How can he see your worth? You have no worth right now. I had no worth right now. None of us had any worth in it. Our worth was in their hands. You got to bring your worth. Your worth does not... your worth is in his hands. It doesn't mean you have to do all that so that you can get that energy back. You never had it anyway. He is just highlighting to you what that is. How you are with you. Where your dignity, self-value, self-respect lies. The only true unconditional love is with divinity. It truly is. With the intelligence, with God, with the divine creator of all, with whatever the creator of all, you know, that is the unconditional love. And it pours back to you and from you with ease. It's not upon anyone else. And so the dialogue needs to change, my love. I understand how deeply you love, but it's not love, it's obsession, okay? And you feel lonely and scared to leave. I get it. And you have every right to feel that way. Every right to feel that way. I am terrified to leave him. I am so scared to walk away. What will I be without him? What if I'm really not lovable? What if I'm really not lovable? What if I'm unworthy? What if I'm unworthy? What if this is true? I am so scared to leave him. I'll never be loved by anyone else. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. What is wrong with me? Why can't I be lovable? I should do better. I can't do any better. I'm so tired. Keep tapping the truth to yourself. Speak the truth to yourself. Instead of saying, I truly love him, you don't. Speak the truth. I'm scared to be alone. I'm scared that I'm unlovable. I'm scared he's the only person that can see how ugly I am and still stick around. That's the truth. That was my truth. It was the thousands of clients I've had in this specific genre of narcissistic abuse. That was the truth. Who else can love me? Because I'm despicable. And this is where all your power has been lost, my love. All your power. Please go watch those videos. There's so much to say and so much to uncover. I'm working on the workshop because I used to do them live, and now that's not the energy I go into. So I'm recording them, fixing them, and we're fixing our website so that it's a course you guys can purchase without me being live there, but I will be there to answer your questions. So there is so much to uncover. And you have to know, you're probably thinking, well, why doesn't he leave me then? He can't leave you. You're wonderful for his ego, right? Once he's completely sucked you dry, he'll leave you then, right? But you're fabulous for his supply to feel. You know that supply they talk about? You're fabulous for his supply of good feelings, right? Because it's easy to drain you out of it. Because you will give everything to feel loved and deserving and not alone, right? But the truth is, can you start to sit with yourself a little bit and ask yourself, why do you believe you're so ugly inside? Why do you believe that you so don't deserve to be respected and loved properly? Why do you so believe that there is something so damaged and wrong with you that this is the best you can do and this is the best you deserve to be treated this way? And I know how horrible it is to be treated that way. And I also know the peanut gallery and looking forward for those moments in time where they smile and they're kind or they give you a compliment and you think the world of it. You feel you've accomplished everything in those moments. And then it's taken away and you start all over again. And you play all the tactics and you play all the games. So ask yourself these questions, my love. I am so sorry you're going through this. It is not fun. It is hell on earth. And I know you can do it. I know you can. And I know you want to get out and you just don't know how. I know it. I love you. Please continue sharing. I'm sure so many people here can help you also. I love you so much, dear one.